Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into the world of The Naked Gun, 2025? Released on August 1st, 2025, this film has sparked endless discussions, and today, we're uncovering every thrilling detail. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And for more incredible movie explorations and hidden gems, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's unravel the magic behind this cinematic masterpiece. When you hear the name The Naked Gun, you probably think of absurd gags, wild slapstick, and the unforgettable deadpan delivery of Leslie Nielsen. And honestly, few expected that 30 years later, we'd be sitting in theaters watching Liam Neeson step into the shoes of Frank Drebin's son. But here we are, and surprisingly it works. It more than works. It's hilarious, sharp, self-aware, and somehow respectful to the original's offbeat DNA while breathing new life into a franchise that had been asleep since 1994. The film opens in classic Naked Gun fashion with chaos. A quiet city street, a masked bank robber, and then a little girl walks into the frame holding a massive candy-striped lollipop. You already know something's off. She spins, twirls, and boom. Underneath the bonnet, it's Liam Neeson in full disguise, clumsily trying to thwart the robbery. It's physical comedy at its best. And from that first moment, the movie tells us it understands the tone it's playing with. Neeson plays Frank Drebin Jr., the deeply awkward but weirdly competent son of the original lieutenant. He's older, he's bitter, and he's never quite lived up to his dad's legend. But he's also completely, unintentionally hilarious. His partner in chaos, Paul Walter Hauser, playing Ed Hocken Jr., yes, the son of Drebin Sr.'s old sidekick. Their chemistry is pure magic. A blend of naive confidence, blundered logic, and bizarre police procedures that make absolutely no sense but somehow save the day. Pamela Anderson is the unexpected standout. As Beth Davenport, a glamorous, mysterious femme fatale with motives as slippery as a greased banana peel. She brings a surprising mix of elegance, satire, and self-parody. Her scenes with Neeson are gold, filled with innuendo, ridiculous misunderstandings, and just the right amount of tension to make their dynamic pop. The plot? Oh, it's ridiculous in the best way. Drebin Jr. is tasked with solving a high-profile murder while stopping the defunding of the police squad. Every clue leads to another absurd setup. A crime scene staged at a clown college, an interrogation at a yoga goat farm, a car chase involving a Segway, a Zamboni, and a hoverboard. And yet, none of it feels forced. The pacing is tight, the gags are relentless, and the jokes, both visual and verbal, come so fast you'll miss a dozen if you blink. Akiva Schaffer, the director, deserves a ton of credit here. Known for his work with The Lonely Island, he brings that same irreverent energy, but polishes it with a reverence for the Zucker-Abraham Zucker formula. The cinematography, while comedic, is surprisingly slick. Every frame is either setting up a punchline or hiding a joke in the background, sometimes both. Seth MacFarlane's influence is also clear in the script. The writing dances between parody and metacomedy, nodding to everything from classic crime thrillers to 2020's police procedurals to, yes, Taken. There's even a scene where Drebin Jr. answers the phone with the now iconic, "I have a very particular set of skills" line, only to misplace his phone and interrogate a toaster. Stupid and brilliant. The soundtrack leans heavily on 80s-inspired synths and police drama themes, remixed and occasionally interrupted by bizarre sound cues like squeaky shoes, off-key horns, and one recurring dog bark that never gets explained. It all adds to the film's charming disorientation. The real magic, though, lies in how it balances chaos with warmth. Underneath the absurdity, there's a real story about legacy, pressure, and figuring out who you are outside of your parents' shadow. Neeson delivers more than just gags. His moments of frustration, pride, and accidental vulnerability give the film unexpected depth. And when he finally earns the respect of the squad, not through brute heroics, but through slipping on a banana peel and knocking out the villain, it's both ridiculous and weirdly satisfying. By the end, you don't just laugh, you kind of care. The closing credits roll over a musical number that involves Busta Rhymes, a group of dancing traffic cones, and Kevin Durant doing ballet in riot gear. You honestly can't make this stuff up. But they did. And it lands. The Naked Gun, 2025, isn't just a reboot, it's a resurrection. It takes everything we loved about the original trilogy and updates it without mocking it. It doesn't try to outdo Leslie Nielsen. It honors him by letting Neeson be something completely different but still unmistakably Drebin. It's goofy, clever, nostalgic, and new all at once. And whether you're a lifelong fan of the originals or just discovering the franchise through this film, there's something wildly enjoyable about watching a movie that never takes itself seriously, but still cares enough to do it right. The Naked Gun, 2025, crashed into theaters on August 1, 2025, and from the moment it began, audiences knew they were in for something bold, chaotic, and hilarious. This isn't just a return to one of cinema's most beloved comedy franchises. It's a full-blown resurrection of absurd, fast-paced, laugh-out-loud humor that many people didn't realize they missed so much. What makes this movie truly stand out is that it doesn't try to copy the original. It builds something new from the same blueprint. Rapid-fire jokes, deadpan performances, physical comedy, and a story that exists just enough to string together dozens of outrageous scenes. Liam Neeson plays Lieutenant Frank Drebin Jr., son of the original Frank Drebin. That alone raised eyebrows when it was announced. Most people knew Neeson from action roles, tough, brooding, intense characters. But here, he leans into comedy in a way that's completely unexpected. He plays everything straight, which makes the comedy even stronger. In every scene, you can tell he's in full control of the ridiculousness around him. Whether he's undercover as a ballet dancer in riot gear, slipping on a dozen banana peels in a row, or dramatically misreading every situation he walks into, Neeson's performance is as surprising as it is effective. The story kicks off with a supposed car accident that turns out to be murder. Drebin Jr., struggling to live up to his father's reputation, is pulled into a case that might involve sabotage, tech moguls, and even a plot to return humanity to its most primal instincts. It sounds over the top, and it absolutely is. But that's the point. This isn't a movie that takes itself seriously. It's a spoof, but one that knows its audience is smart and expects more than recycled jokes. Instead of just referencing the past, it creates new moments that feel both current and timeless. Pamela Anderson plays Beth Davenport, a character full of secrets and smooth lines. She plays it cool, delivering ridiculous dialogue with a perfectly serious expression, which makes it all land even harder. Her chemistry with Neeson is unexpectedly strong. They play off each other with perfect timing. She's icy and mysterious. He's clumsy but determined. Together, they give the film a central relationship that anchors the madness. The rest of the cast is just as committed. Paul Walter Hauser plays Ed Hawken Jr., Drebin's loyal but clueless partner. He's full of strange ideas, misplaced confidence, and somehow always ends up in the wrong room at the right time. Danny Huston is the slick, smiling villain Richard Kane, a tech mogul with a secret plan so wild it involves mind control frequencies and a backup civilization hiding under Nevada. Every actor is fully bought in, which is what makes the movie work. No one's trying to be clever or ironic. They're all playing it straight, which is exactly what the best parody demands. Visually, the movie is packed with background gags, visual misleads, and blink can you'll miss it jokes. From a police station where every cop has a different hat for no reason, to a high-speed chase on segways that ends in a 3-car pileup involving a Zamboni, a taco truck, and a marching band. It's the kind of film where the setting is as much a punchline as the characters. The editing keeps things moving fast. Scenes rarely linger. If a joke doesn't land, the next one is already coming at you full speed. The humor blends old-school slapstick with modern satire. There are jokes about smartphones, social media, artificial intelligence, influencers, and corporate speak. But the movie never feels preachy or smug. It doesn't want to comment on society, it just wants to make fun of everything, and it does. Whether it's spoofing crime dramas, tech thrillers, courtroom dramas, or political scandals, the film is smart enough to know when to push and when to pull back. That balance keeps the comedy feeling fresh throughout. What truly makes The Naked Gun 2025 a cultural moment is its timing. Comedy in theaters has been rare in recent years. Most funny content has shifted to streaming platforms or been buried in endless series. This movie, loud and confident, reminded people what it feels like to laugh with a packed crowd. It brought generations together. Fans of the original trilogy watched it out of curiosity, while younger viewers discovered a kind of humor they hadn't seen before. Unapologetic, fast, visual, and silly in the best possible way. There's also something deeply satisfying about seeing a movie that isn't worried about awards or box office records. It just wants to entertain. And it does. That's why people started quoting it. That's why memes exploded across the internet. That's why critics and audiences actually agreed for once. The film taps into something many of us forgot we loved. Chaos with heart, nonsense with purpose, and stories where everything goes wrong in exactly the right way. Watching this movie once is fun, but the real joy comes in watching it again. You'll catch jokes you missed, details in the background, characters doing strange things that have no purpose except to be funny. There's a confidence in that kind of comedy, a sense that the filmmakers trust you to notice the little things. And when you do, it feels like you're part of the joke. That's rare. That's special. The Naked Gun 2025 isn't just a reboot. It's a reminder that comedy can be smart and dumb at the same time. That a well-delivered line or perfectly timed fall can still make us laugh harder than any special effect. And that sometimes, in a world full of seriousness, all we need is a detective who means well, tries hard, and still ends up tackling the wrong person. If you're looking for a film that delivers joy from start to finish, without ever asking you to take it seriously, this is one worth diving into. From the very first frame, The Naked Gun 2025 announces itself as more than just a legacy sequel. It's a layered comedy full of blink-and-you'll-miss-it details that reward sharp-eyed viewers and longtime fans. As Frank Drebin Jr. walks onto the screen in disguise during a hostage situation, dressed as a schoolgirl wielding a candy-striped lollipop, it's a chaotic homage to both the franchise's love of absurd entrances and a playful jab at the gritty, overly serious tone of modern action thrillers. The camera lingers just long enough to let us notice the hostage-taker's tattoos, one reading "Plot Hole Survivor," and another showing a barcode labeled subtext. It's pure visual satire, immediately placing the film in a world where even background gags carry double meanings. Early on, the precinct headquarters hides a subtle piece of continuity. A dusty plaque honoring Detective Frank Drebin Sr. hangs crooked on the wall behind a broken vending machine. Beneath the plaque, a coffee cup slowly leaking onto the floor, a nod to the running gag in the original trilogy about Frank Sr. never finishing his coffee. Even more cleverly, if you look closely, the vending machine itself contains a bag of LT snacks, a pun referencing Leslie Nielsen's initials. It's these kinds of tiny touches that root the reboot in a lovingly crafted web of legacy and meta-humor. When Drebin Jr. is demoted and placed on traffic duty with Ed Hocken Jr., their first scene in the patrol car includes a blink-and-you'll-miss-it radio transmission. Code 24B, 1 banana peel, 2 clowns down. That line is more than just a throwaway. It's a reference to the original Naked Gun 33 and 1/3, where a banana peel joke leads to a courtroom accident. By reimagining the code as a standard police alert, the film winks to fans who've followed the franchise's slapstick DNA. The villain, Richard Kane, is introduced in an ultra-sleek boardroom surrounded by walls filled with abstract art. But look closer. The artworks are actually distorted versions of classic spy posters, James Bond, Mission Impossible, even a subtle homage to Inspector Gadget. Kane's assistant, never named in dialogue, has a nameplate reading M.T. Credibility, which flashes on screen for barely a second. It's a joke that works on multiple levels. Mocking corporate titles, tech billionaire arrogance, and the way villains often surround themselves with people who question nothing. Beth Davenport, introduced as a grieving sister, carries her own trail of symbolic detail. Her outfits are all shades of gray and navy, practical, reserved, but as the film progresses and she and Frank form a bond, her wardrobe brightens subtly with each scene. It's a quiet visual arc that mirrors her emotional opening up. In one of her scenes, she sifts through her brother's belongings and finds a rubber chicken in a box marked legal evidence. A callback to the absurd case files from the earlier Naked Gun films where nonsense objects were always Exhibit A. As Drebin Jr. and Ed dig deeper into Kane's plot, one lab scene includes a whiteboard scribbled with diagrams labeled PLOT and RSPCT, the latter standing for Rapid Sycophantic Public Compliance Theory. On that same whiteboard, a sketch of what appears to be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's never acknowledged, never explained. Just a wink to the idea that blockbuster cinema, technology, and nostalgia have all blended into one absurd soup. A standout moment of foreshadowing occurs when Kane hosts a black-tie tech gala showcasing his PLOT device. In the background of the lavish hall is a slideshow cycling through news headlines. One flashes for barely half a second, reading "Scientists discover empathy located in elbow." That line, played for laughs, foreshadows the eventual reveal that Kane's machine disrupts emotional centers using sonic frequency waves targeting nerve clusters, including the elbow. It's a gag with narrative payoff, proving that even the silliest lines can have story weight. The supporting cast is filled with returning references. Chief Davis, played with dry authority, has a mug that says "World's Third Best Cop," an updated riff on Frank Sr.'s own Best Cop mug from the original. When Davis lays out the consequences of Drebin's misconduct, she uses a laser pointer on a city map where the red keeps drifting into the men's room. That pointer appears again during the film's climax, subtly establishing how Drebin uses it later to blind one of Kane's guards. Even sight gags double as setup. When Frank and Beth find themselves sneaking into Edenteca's underground lab, they pass through a hallway full of cryogenically frozen figures, each labeled with fake titles like "Cancelled Villain Number 4" or "Mid-Credit Tease Number 7. Among them, a frozen Nordberg Jr., eyes wide open, posed mid-fall. It's a surreal tribute to the recurring joke of Nordberg's constant bad luck, continuing into the next generation. A musical cue used throughout the film, a slow, dramatic string swell, will sound familiar to sharp-eared audiences. It's a reorchestrated version of the original series theme, but played backwards and slowed down. This reversal thematically reflects Drebin Jr.'s journey. Backward expectations, slow realization, and eventual alignment with his father's spirit, but in his own chaotic way. In the film's third act, just before the PLOT device unleashes citywide havoc, we see a street preacher warning of the day of reckoning, holding a sign with comic timing that shifts every frame. One reads, "Repent. The algorithm knows." Another, "Naked Gun 4 was a lie." That's a meta-reference to the fourth film that was announced years ago and never made. It's a self-aware jab that also serves as a clue. This version is the long-delayed fourth installment, disguised as a reboot. The final confrontation with Kane inside the gala hall explodes with layered visual gags. A banner behind the villain that reads, "Humanity 2.0, starts glitching and eventually retypes itself as "Humanity, LOL." Frank throws a decoy version of himself made out of pillows and mop heads, a callback to the original Naked Gun's famous rooftop dummy gag. Meanwhile, Beth fights off security using a hairbrush that doubles as a taser. She later quips it's her bad hair day tool, bringing back a one-liner she muttered under her breath in an earlier interrogation scene. Even in its closing moments, the film doesn't let up. During the wrap-up press conference, the podium bears the sealed Department of Redundancy Department. Behind the reporters, a poster for an unrelated action film titled Staring Contest 3. I Harder, complete with absurd tagline and review quotes like, "Absolutely shot in focus." As Frank gives his final speech, we see a janitor slowly mopping the same wet patch from the film's opening. Only now he's humming the theme from Airplane, a hidden nod to the original creative lineage. And perhaps the most touching Easter egg arrives silently. As the credits roll and chaos gives way to calm, a small black and white photo appears on screen for a moment. Leslie Nielsen in uniform, smiling. It's not labeled. It doesn't call attention to itself. But its presence is the emotional through line, the silent acknowledgement that everything absurd, everything hilarious, came from the sincerity of that original deadpan performance. In this moment, without fanfare or punchline, the film honors the man who turned ridiculous into something timeless. In every corner of The Naked Gun, 2025, hidden details, jokes within jokes, and layered callbacks work to ensure that no scene is just for show. Every piece contributes, some with punchlines, others with purpose. It's a comedy that doesn't just ask you to laugh. It dares you to look closer. Because in this film, even the silliest gag might just be the smartest line in the room. Making the Naked Gun, 2025, was an experience packed with as much chaos behind the camera as on screen, reflecting the spirit of the original trilogy, but amplified for a new generation. The story of its production reads almost like a comedy itself, filled with surprising twists, odd challenges, and moments where reality seemed to parody the very slapstick it aimed to create. From the earliest stages, the filmmakers knew they were stepping into hallowed and somewhat hazardous territory. Reviving a beloved franchise where Leslie Nielsen's legacy loomed large was no small task. The producers faced a unique challenge: how to honor the deadpan genius of Nielsen while introducing fresh comedic energy that wouldn't just feel like a rehash. That pressure set a tone of intense deliberation mixed with bursts of improvisation that defined the shoot. One of the strangest facts about the production is how Liam Neeson was approached for the lead role. Initially, casting directors worried his reputation as a serious, action-heavy actor might clash with the film's absurd comedic tone. It took multiple meetings for Neeson to convince the producers that he wanted to do the movie not as a spoof of himself but as a loving tribute to the original Drebin. Neeson's commitment to physical comedy caught many off guard. He reportedly insisted on performing his own stunts, including the infamous hoverboard sequence that nearly ended with a hospital visit. His willingness to embrace the ridiculous without mocking it gave the film its emotional heart and earned him respect from both the comedy and action worlds. Behind the scenes, the hoverboard scene itself became the stuff of legend. Filming took over 2 weeks because the crew had to create a custom rig that could safely hold Neeson while allowing for those perfect awkward falls and quick recoveries. During one take, a gust of wind almost sent Neeson careening off set, causing everyone to hold their breath before he burst out laughing. That blend of danger and fun perfectly mirrored the film's tone, a high-wire act between slapstick and sincerity. Pamela Anderson's casting as Beth Davenport surprised many fans and critics alike. Known predominantly for her work in the 90s and early 2000s, Anderson was eager to shed old typecasting. She arrived on set prepared with a backstory for Beth that was much darker and emotionally complex than the script initially suggested, asking to explore the character's grief and subtle humor more deeply. Director Rawson Marshall Thurber gave her room to experiment, which resulted in many scenes feeling more nuanced than expected for a slapstick comedy. A little-known fact is that some of Anderson's most praised moments, especially her dry delivery, were largely improvised on set, showcasing her sharp instincts and deep understanding of timing. The film's makeup and special effects department also faced unusual hurdles. The reboot leaned heavily on practical effects to maintain the original's tactile charm, but they were tasked with updating gags for modern audiences. For example, the sequence where Frank bites through a power cord involved complex prosthetics and multiple takes to get the timing right. To achieve the perfect zap effect, the crew used a combination of practical sparks and CGI, blending old-school craftsmanship with new technology. One spark technician joked that their job was to make the chaos look like chaos, not danger, a line that could easily double as the movie's unofficial motto. Another behind-the-scenes oddity involved the music score. Composer Lorne Balfe was initially hesitant to work on a spoof, worried that a comedic film wouldn't let him flex his orchestral muscles. However, after watching some early cuts, he found inspiration in the original Naked Gun themes and created a score that blends traditional suspense with quirky comedic beats. Balfe used an old theremin instrument on set during recording sessions to evoke that vintage sci-fi vibe whenever Kane's PLOT device appeared, adding layers of atmosphere that many viewers might not consciously notice but feel subliminally. The film's script went through multiple rewrites, some sparked by unusual incidents on set. During filming of a high-speed car chase, the production was temporarily halted when a crew member accidentally locked the director in a trailer. The resulting delay inspired the writing team to add a scene where Frank is trapped in an elevator, using a mop handle to pick a lock, turning a real-life mishap into a comedic highlight. This kind of fluid creativity was part of the production's DNA, where mishaps became opportunities. One particularly controversial moment occurred with a joke involving a tech billionaire's AI assistant. The original script included a satirical bit implying the AI was too invasive, sparking a quiet debate among the producers about whether it was too timely or harsh, given ongoing real-world discussions about privacy. After some debate, the scene was kept but tweaked to be more absurd and less pointed, illustrating the tightrope the filmmakers walked between humor and sensitivity in a politically charged climate. The camaraderie among cast and crew also shaped the final product in unexpected ways. Busta Rhymes, who made a surprise cameo as a security guard, was so energetic on set that he improvised an entire dance sequence during a chase scene, which the director loved and kept in the final cut. Meanwhile, CCH Pounder, portraying Chief Davis, became known for her dry wit off-camera, often diffusing tense moments with deadpan quips that mirrored her on-screen persona. According to crew anecdotes, her calm presence helped keep the mood light during long days of shooting complex scenes. One fascinating tidbit about the filming locations is how the production team transformed a decommissioned nuclear power plant into Edenteca's headquarters. The plant's industrial architecture lent an imposing, dystopian feel to the villain's lair. The team embraced the eerie atmosphere, adding fog machines and dynamic lighting that sometimes made the actors feel like they were on a sci-fi set. There were moments when the air was so thick with artificial fog that crew members joked they needed night vision goggles to find their way. These atmospheric touches, although uncredited, added to the film's unique visual identity. Another curious fact involves the many background actors who were longtime fans of the original trilogy. Some were given subtle direction to mimic classic facial expressions or gestures from Leslie Nielsen's Drebin, adding a layer of homage that might not be immediately obvious but enriched the movie's feel. In one scene, a background extra wears a name tag reading Hugo Nordberg, an affectionate nod to Nordberg's famous slapstick calamities, creating a quiet in-joke for fans. The costume design also had its share of surprises. The filmmakers opted to reuse some original wardrobe pieces from the 80s movies, including Frank Drebin Sr.'s iconic trench coat, which was carefully restored and fitted for Neeson. Seeing the older coat juxtaposed with modern fabrics in the same scenes visually represented the passing of the torch, both narratively and stylistically. Pamela Anderson's wardrobe evolved over the shoot, partly in response to her performance, with designers adjusting colors and cuts to emphasize Beth's emotional progression, a rare blend of storytelling through costume in a comedy. The post-production phase brought its own share of strange challenges. Editors worked with over 400 hours of footage, much of it improvised or shot with multiple takes varying wildly in tone. Balancing these into a cohesive, flowing comedy required several test screenings, where audience reactions led to reshaping entire scenes. One test screening famously resulted in re-editing a chase scene to include a slow-motion fall by Ed, after audience laughter peaked during an outtake. This approach demonstrated how the film embraced feedback while preserving its spontaneous feel. During promotional interviews, Liam Neeson revealed that learning to deliver deadpan comedy was harder than any of his previous action roles. He described how the key was not to try to be funny, but to commit fully to the absurdity without breaking character. A philosophy he applied even during blooper reels, some of which were nearly released as part of a bonus feature. Director Thurber later commented that Neeson's seriousness made everything hilarious, turning his famous stoicism into the film's comedic backbone. Finally, the film's release itself was marked by unusual events. Premieres in several cities were unexpectedly interrupted by flash mobs reenacting key scenes, organized by enthusiastic fans online. These guerrilla performances spread excitement but caused some logistical headaches, prompting the studio to issue playful watch and join guidelines. The viral marketing became a phenomenon in its own right, blurring the lines between audience and performance and reinforcing the film's status as a cultural event. From the very start of The Naked Gun, 2025, the audience is pulled into a world where comedy and heartfelt storytelling collide in ways that feel both fresh and familiar. One of the earliest scenes that truly sets the tone is Frank Drebin Jr.'s chaotic undercover entrance at the hostage standoff, disguised as a schoolgirl wielding an oversized lollipop. On the surface, it's a classic visual gag, a perfect blend of absurdity and physical comedy that immediately elicits laughter. But beyond the humor, This moment also serves as a key introduction to Frank's character. Someone willing to embrace the ridiculous in pursuit of justice, yet with a certain earnestness that grounds the chaos. The interplay between his deadpan delivery and the over-the-top disguise establishes the film's core balance, making viewers laugh while rooting for Drebin as a genuinely good-hearted hero. Audience reactions during test screenings confirmed this scene's strength, with laughter peaking and applause breaking out, showing that humor and sincerity can coexist beautifully. Another standout sequence that carries significant emotional weight is the confrontation between Frank and Beth Davenport, where their shared grief over lost loved ones unfolds quietly amid the film's frenetic pace. This scene's power lies in its restraint. Pamela Anderson's subtle expressions and Neeson's nuanced delivery strip away the comedy for a moment to reveal raw human connection. It reminds the audience that beneath the slapstick lies a story about loss, redemption, and the struggle to find hope. Thematically, it anchors the narrative, giving stakes beyond the typical police caper and encouraging viewers to invest emotionally. Critics widely praised this moment as evidence that the film isn't just a gag reel, but a heartfelt tribute to its character's humanity. The infamous hoverboard chase stands as one of the movie's most ambitious and technically impressive sequences. It combines high-energy action with perfect comedic timing, pushing Neeson's physicality to new heights. What makes this scene special is the way it subverts expectations. Hoverboards are often associated with futuristic coolness or sci-fi fantasy, but here they become tools of awkwardness and slapstick disaster. The carefully choreographed falls and near misses create tension and laughter simultaneously, drawing viewers into a roller coaster of excitement and amusement. This scene's success also depends heavily on sound design. The exaggerated whooshes and comical crashes heighten the effect, making it memorable long after the credits roll. Audience surveys showed this moment as one of the top reasons fans connected with the film's energy and inventiveness. Equally impactful is the sequence where Frank and Ed infiltrate Edenteca's high-security lab. Beyond the thrills and gags, this scene uses lighting and set design to create a sense of claustrophobic intensity. The cold, sterile environment contrasts sharply with Frank's bumbling personality, reinforcing themes of technology versus humanity. Here, the film comments subtly on modern society's increasing reliance on tech and the absurdity that can come from over-engineering, an idea woven throughout the story. The tension rises steadily, making the eventual reveal of Kane's true intentions all the more satisfying. Audience members often cite this scene as a turning point where the stakes became clear, heightening their engagement. A deeply memorable moment occurs during the climactic gala, where Frank faces off against Richard Kane amidst a backdrop of sleek modernity and flashing cameras. This scene masterfully blends satire and suspense, mocking tech billionaires' self-importance while delivering a classic showdown. The tension is palpable, but it's undercut by Drebin's signature clumsiness, throwing a pillow dummy of himself into the fray and inadvertently causing chaos. The juxtaposition highlights a key theme, that genuine courage and goodness can disrupt even the most polished villainous schemes. The emotional core of the scene is also felt through Beth's involvement, as she fights alongside Frank, symbolizing unity and resilience. Critics hailed this scene as a highlight, praising its sharp wit and effective blend of action and comedy. Throughout the film, smaller moments quietly build the narrative's emotional texture. For example, the recurring motif of Frank's unfinished coffee cup appears in various scenes, symbolizing his perpetual state of disruption, but also his persistence. This simple prop acts as a visual through line, tying together seemingly unrelated moments and reminding viewers of Drebin's humanity amidst the chaos. Audience members who noticed this subtle detail often commented on how it added depth to an otherwise comedic figure. The film's closing sequence brings all thematic threads together. As the city returns to calm after Kane's defeat, the focus shifts to the quiet interactions between Frank, Beth, and Ed. Here, the humor softens, and a sense of closure emerges. Frank's final speech, laced with his trademark awkwardness but genuine sincerity, serves as a meta-commentary on heroism and imperfection. It invites the audience to celebrate the journey, flaws and all, while leaving room for hope and future adventures. The emotional resonance of this moment lingers, transforming the film from mere parody into a celebration of resilience and friendship. Critical responses highlighted how these key moments, among others, elevate The Naked Gun, 2025, beyond typical comedy fare. The film's ability to balance uproarious slapstick with moments of genuine feeling offers a layered experience that appeals to a wide range of viewers. The pacing, carefully calibrated to build suspense and laughter in tandem, keeps audiences engaged from start to finish. Importantly, these impactful scenes also serve to honor the spirit of the original trilogy while allowing new creative voices to shine. Audience reactions have been overwhelmingly positive, with many praising the film's clever writing, heartfelt performances, and inventive set pieces. The way the movie invites viewers to laugh but also to care deepens its impact, creating a lasting connection. Social media buzz often centers on specific sequences, like the hoverboard chase and the gala showdown, highlighting their status as standout moments that define the film's unique flavor. In summary, the emotional depth and thematic richness of these scenes shape the overall experience of The Naked Gun, 2025. They remind us that beneath the layers of humor and absurdity lies a story about human connection, perseverance, and finding light in darkness. By blending comedy with heart, the film crafts moments that stay with audiences long after the laughter fades, making it a truly memorable addition to the franchise's legacy. As you journey through The Naked Gun, 2025, it becomes clear that beneath its riotous comedy lies a thoughtful exploration of themes that resonate with today's world. The film doesn't just make us laugh. It nudges us to think about trust, identity, and the complex relationship between technology and humanity. These ideas unfold subtly throughout the story, wrapped in humor but with real emotional weight. At the heart of the film is the theme of legacy and transformation. Frank Drebin Jr., stepping into his father's shoes, embodies the struggle between honoring tradition and forging a new path. His bumbling yet determined nature shows that heroism isn't about perfection but persistence. This message comes alive not just in his actions but in symbolic moments, like the trench coat passed down from his father, a tangible link to the past that Frank wears awkwardly but proudly. It speaks to how we all carry the weight of those who came before us while trying to make our own mark. This theme resonates on a universal level, inviting viewers to reflect on their own journeys and inheritances. The film also plays cleverly with the theme of surveillance and control, weaving it into the villain's plan and the world he inhabits. Richard Kane's EdenTech represents the dangers of unchecked technological power, a sprawling corporate entity that monitors and manipulates under the guise of innovation. The sterile, cold aesthetic of EdenTech's headquarters, full of blinking machines and AI assistants, contrasts sharply with Drebin's messy, human approach, his clumsy mistakes and emotional instincts. This contrast symbolizes the tension between cold, calculated systems and the messy, unpredictable nature of humanity. The film critiques our increasing reliance on technology, warning against surrendering too much control while reminding us that compassion and humor remain vital. Throughout the story, the recurring motif of masks and disguises deepens the exploration of identity. Frank's numerous disguises, often absurd, reflect the ways people try to fit into roles or hide their true selves. Yet, these masks never fully succeed. Frank's sincerity always shines through. This theme extends to other characters too. Beth Davenport's guarded exterior hides grief and strength, while Kane's polished public image masks his ruthless ambitions. By peeling back these layers, the film encourages audiences to question appearances and seek authenticity amid surface-level facades. Symbolism is woven intricately into the film's comedic fabric. For example, the oversized lollipop Frank carries during his first undercover mission is more than a silly prop. It symbolizes innocence and the absurdity of wielding something so childish in a dangerous world. This juxtaposition highlights the film's celebration of lightheartedness as a form of resistance against darkness and cynicism. Similarly, the recurring image of the unfinished coffee cup reflects Frank's chaotic life, constantly disrupted, yet somehow persistent, much like the human spirit itself. The film also cleverly uses color symbolism to reinforce its themes. EdenTech's spaces are bathed in cold blues and sterile whites, evoking detachment and control, while scenes involving Frank and Beth are warmer, with earthy tones that feel more grounded and human. This visual language supports the narrative tension between dehumanizing technology and genuine connection. Social commentary threads throughout the narrative without ever feeling heavy-handed. The portrayal of Eden Tech critiques the power of tech giants in modern society, hinting at concerns about privacy, surveillance, and the consequences of innovation divorced from ethics. The film's humor disarms these serious issues, making them accessible without diminishing their importance. It suggests that while technology shapes our lives, it should never replace empathy and human judgment. Gender dynamics also emerge thoughtfully. Beth Davenport is not just a love interest but a strong, complex character who challenges traditional roles. Her partnership with Frank reflects a more equal and supportive relationship, signaling progress in how women are portrayed in action comedies. This shift feels organic to the story, enhancing the emotional stakes without resorting to cliches. Additionally, the film explores themes of grief and healing through its characters' personal arcs. Frank and Beth both grapple with loss, and their journey together models how humor and companionship can aid recovery. This emotional undercurrent adds depth to the slapstick, reminding viewers that laughter often coexists with pain and that resilience is born from embracing both. The movie also engages in meta-commentary about the nature of comedy itself. By blending slapstick with genuine emotion, it reflects on how humor can be a powerful tool for coping and connection. It pays homage to its own genre while pushing boundaries, inviting audiences to reconsider what a comedy can achieve. In sum, The Naked Gun 2025 is much more than a spoof. It's a layered narrative that uses humor and symbolism to explore identity, technology, grief, and resilience. Its social commentary feels woven into the story's DNA, enriching the viewing experience without overshadowing the laughs. By doing so, the film invites us not only to chuckle but to reflect on the world we live in and the humanity we must hold onto within it. From the opening moments of The Naked Gun 2025, the film's visual style grabs the audience's attention, setting the stage for a comedy that feels both fresh and respectful of its roots. The director, Rawson Marshall Thurber, expertly blends classic slapstick with modern cinematic flair, creating a visual language that enhances the story's absurdity while grounding it in an immersive world. Every frame feels deliberate, crafted to support both the humor and the emotional undertones that run throughout the film. Cinematographer Barry Peterson plays a crucial role in shaping this distinct visual identity. His use of wide-angle lenses captures the physical comedy with crisp clarity, allowing audiences to soak in the exaggerated gestures and chaotic action that define Frank Drebin's character. These wide shots are balanced with tighter close-ups during quieter, more emotional moments, like Frank and Beth's heartfelt conversations, creating an intimate contrast that deepens the viewer's connection to the characters. This careful variation in framing helps maintain the film's rhythm, seamlessly shifting between high-energy comedy and tender storytelling. Lighting is another vital tool in the film's visual storytelling. The team uses bright, saturated lighting during the slapstick sequences, emphasizing the cartoonish energy and making the colors pop, especially in scenes like the hoverboard chase, where neon signs and city lights create a vibrant playground for chaos. In contrast, scenes set within Eden Tech's headquarters feature cooler, harsher lighting with sharp shadows, underscoring the villain's cold, calculated nature. This interplay between warm and cold tones visually reinforces the thematic battle between humanity and technology, subtly guiding the audience's emotional response without a single word spoken. Editing in The Naked Gun 2025 is a masterclass in comedic timing. Editors worked closely with Thurber to ensure that every gag landed perfectly, often using quick cuts to heighten surprise and laughter. For example, during the opening hostage standoff, rapid intercuts between Frank's absurd disguise and the serious reactions of other characters build comedic tension that explodes into laughter. These fast-paced edits are balanced with longer takes when the story demands emotional weight, like Beth's quiet moments of reflection, allowing the audience to breathe and absorb the depth beneath the comedy. One of the film's standout stylistic choices is its use of visual callbacks and layered framing. Throughout the movie, the camera often lingers on small details: a quirky prop, a character's fleeting expression, that pay homage to the original Naked Gun trilogy. These visual nods create a rich tapestry of references that reward attentive viewers and add a sense of continuity across the franchise's legacy. For example, the recurring shot of Frank's trench coat hanging on a rack subtly mirrors similar imagery from earlier films, symbolizing the passing of the comedic torch. Sound design plays an equally important role in shaping the film's atmosphere. The creative team mixes classic slapstick sound effects, like exaggerated slips and crashes, with modern audio techniques to keep the experience lively and engaging. During chase scenes, the soundscape is filled with layered footsteps, squeaky wheels, and humorous grunts that amplify the physical comedy. In contrast, the scenes within Eden Tech use ambient electronic hums and synthetic bleeps, immersing the viewer in the cold, technological world of the antagonist. This thoughtful contrast in sound cues helps maintain the film's tonal balance. Music, composed by Lorne Balfe, weaves seamlessly into this soundscape, enhancing both mood and narrative. The score often oscillates between playful orchestral themes reminiscent of the original series and more suspenseful, modern compositions that heighten tension during critical moments. One particularly inventive choice is Balfe's use of a theremin in scenes involving the PLOT device, a nod to vintage sci-fi scores that adds an eerie, whimsical layer to the film's villainous technology. This blend of old and new in the music parallels the film's overall aesthetic, honoring tradition while pushing boundaries. Another unique stylistic element is the film's dynamic camera work during action sequences. Instead of relying heavily on shaky cam or rapid cuts common in contemporary blockbusters, the film opts for smooth, deliberate tracking shots that showcase both the actor's physical comedy and the choreography of stunts. For instance, the hoverboard chase is captured with fluid motion, allowing viewers to appreciate the skill and timing involved while maintaining clear visual storytelling. This approach keeps the action accessible and visually coherent, enhancing both humor and excitement. The director's use of color grading also deserves attention. Throughout the film, color palettes shift subtly to reflect emotional beats and thematic contrasts. Warm, golden hues dominate scenes of camaraderie and humor, fostering a sense of comfort and familiarity. Conversely, cooler, desaturated tones color moments of tension and villainy, visually cueing the audience to shifts in mood. This careful attention to color not only enriches the viewing experience, but also aids in storytelling by reinforcing the emotional landscape. One of the most innovative visual storytelling choices is how the film uses mise-en-scene to convey character dynamics. For example, in scenes where Frank and Beth work together, the set design often places them in close proximity within cluttered, chaotic environments, reflecting their growing partnership amidst disorder. In contrast, Richard Kane is frequently framed alone in vast, sterile spaces, emphasizing his isolation and detachment. These spatial choices add layers to character relationships without relying on dialogue, allowing viewers to absorb subtle narrative clues visually. Moreover, the film cleverly integrates modern visual effects without losing the tactile charm of the original series. Practical effects are favored whenever possible, whether it's the slapstick pratfalls, mechanical gags, or physical props, giving the comedy a grounded, authentic feel. When CGI is used, it's carefully blended to support rather than overwhelm, enhancing scenes like the PLOT device's activation with glowing lights and digital distortions that feel both futuristic and playful. This blend preserves the film's identity as a homage while embracing contemporary technology. Sound mixing is equally nuanced, balancing dialogue, effects, and music to maintain clarity and impact. During fast-paced sequences, the mix highlights key audio cues, like the squeak of a hoverboard or the clatter of a falling prop, drawing the audience's focus without drowning out important dialogue. Quiet moments use subtle ambient sounds, such as distant city noise or gentle footsteps, to create intimacy and realism. This attention to auditory detail elevates the storytelling, making the world feel lived in and immersive. The film's pacing, guided heavily by editing and sound, contributes significantly to its overall success. Rapid-fire jokes are interspersed with slower, character-driven scenes, allowing audiences to laugh heartily but also connect emotionally. This rhythm keeps viewers engaged and prevents the humor from feeling one-note or exhausting. The pacing also supports the unfolding mystery and action, building suspense organically before delivering payoff moments that satisfy both comedic and narrative expectations. Lastly, the director's vision shines through in the film's use of visual irony and juxtaposition. Many scenes set up expectations visually only to subvert them humorously. For example, a tense meeting with corporate executives might be framed like a thriller. Low angles, dramatic lighting, but quickly undercut by ridiculous dialogue or physical mishaps. These moments demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of cinematic language, using it to amplify comedy rather than just imitate it. In essence, The Naked Gun, 2025, employs its cinematic techniques not just to tell a story, but to deepen the audience's experience, making every joke, emotional beat, and action sequence resonate more fully. The careful interplay of cinematography, lighting, editing, sound design, and music creates a cohesive, vibrant world where humor and heart coexist naturally. These choices define the director's vision, one that honors the original films while crafting something uniquely engaging for today's viewers. From the earliest moments of filming The Naked Gun, 2025, it was clear that the cast's chemistry would be one of the movie's defining strengths. Liam Neeson's portrayal of Frank Drebin Jr. brought a fresh yet familiar energy, and his dynamic with Pamela Anderson, reprising her role as Beth Davenport, created a spark that ignited many of the film's most memorable scenes. Their interactions felt natural and effortless, a blend of genuine friendship and playful banter that elevated even the zaniest comedic moments. This connection allowed the humor to land authentically. Audiences could feel the warmth behind the laughter, making the characters more than just caricatures. Behind the camera, the rapport between Neeson and Anderson helped set the tone for the entire production. According to crew anecdotes, their rehearsals were often filled with laughter and improvisation, which directors and writers encouraged to keep the spirit of the original Naked Gun alive while injecting new life into the sequel. One well-known story involves a lengthy improv session on set during a break from shooting the hoverboard chase. Neeson's willingness to embrace physical comedy surprised many, as he fully committed to the awkward stumbles and pratfalls, often staying in character between takes. Anderson's quick wit complemented this perfectly, bouncing off his energy with sharp, playful remarks. This genuine friendship translated on screen, making their characters' relationship believable and engaging. Supporting cast members also played a crucial role in shaping the film's dynamic. The introduction of Richard Kane, portrayed with a menacing yet oddly charming presence, added an intriguing foil to Frank's goofy heroism. The subtle tension between Neeson and the actor playing Kane enriched the narrative, turning what could have been a straightforward villain into a layered character with complex motivations. Behind the scenes, the two actors reportedly spent time discussing their characters' psychology, deepening their performances and enabling nuanced scenes that balanced menace with dark humor. The chemistry extended beyond the leads to the ensemble cast, whose diverse talents helped create a lively and unpredictable atmosphere on set. The comedic timing of supporting actors during group scenes, such as the chaotic police precinct meetings and the EdenTech boardroom fiascos, showcased a well-rehearsed synergy that was honed through repeated takes and collaborative input. Crew members often remarked on the set's lively energy, with cast members encouraging each other to push boundaries and experiment, which led to some of the film's most spontaneous and beloved moments. The set design itself played a surprising role in fostering this chemistry. The production team intentionally created spaces that encouraged interaction and improvisation. The police precinct was built with an open layout to facilitate natural movement and spontaneous comedic exchanges. EdenTech's sleek, futuristic sets contrasted this by emphasizing formality and isolation. Yet even in these more sterile environments, actors found opportunities to inject humor through subtle gestures and expressions. These thoughtful designs gave the cast a physical playground that supported the film's tonal shifts between chaos and control. Audience reactions to The Naked Gun, 2025, have been overwhelmingly positive, with many fans highlighting the palpable chemistry between the leads as a key factor in their enjoyment. Early screenings elicited hearty laughter and enthusiastic applause, especially during scenes featuring the Frank-Beth partnership. Social media buzz quickly grew, with viewers praising not only the script but also the actors' genuine rapport. Many longtime fans of the franchise expressed delight at seeing familiar faces share new moments of humor and heart, while newcomers appreciated the fresh energy and approachable performances. Critical reception reflected this enthusiasm, often noting how the cast's chemistry breathed new life into a beloved series. Reviewers pointed out that the film's success lay in its balance of reverence for the original spirit and the actors' ability to forge their own unique connections. The interplay between slapstick comedy and emotional sincerity was frequently cited as a highlight, and this was largely attributed to the actors' deep understanding of their roles and each other. The film's lasting impact is also evident in its long-term fan engagement. Conventions, online forums, and fan art communities have embraced The Naked Gun 2025 as both a tribute and a fresh take, with fans often focusing on the memorable interactions between Neeson and Anderson's characters. Cast reunions at events and interviews further fueled this enthusiasm, as the actors shared stories about their experiences and reflected on how their collaboration shaped the film's tone. Behind the scenes, the director often emphasized the importance of maintaining a relaxed, collaborative environment to nurture this chemistry. By fostering mutual respect and encouraging improvisation, the cast and crew created an atmosphere where creativity flourished naturally. This approach not only enhanced performances but also ensured that the film's humor remained spontaneous and alive. In addition to professional respect, genuine friendships formed during production helped sustain the cast's energy through challenging shoots. Physically demanding scenes like the hoverboard chase required trust and support, and actors often credited their bonds with helping them push through fatigue and discomfort. This camaraderie is palpable on screen, where moments of vulnerability and humor feel authentic rather than rehearsed. In sum, the success of The Naked Gun 2025 owes much to the seamless chemistry between its actors, the thoughtfully designed sets that encouraged interaction, and a collaborative atmosphere that fostered creativity and spontaneity. The audience's warm reception and lasting fandom underscore how these elements combined to create a film that entertains while feeling deeply connected to its characters and their stories. This blend of professionalism, friendship, and artistry crafted an experience that honors the franchise's legacy while inviting viewers to join in a new chapter filled with laughter, heart, and unforgettable moments. When The Naked Gun 2025 burst onto screens, it did more than just revive a beloved franchise. It reshaped the landscape of comedy filmmaking and left an indelible mark on popular culture that continues to ripple years after its release. What sets this film apart is how it managed to balance homage and innovation, blending classic slapstick and parody with fresh storytelling that resonates deeply with modern audiences. Its influence extends far beyond box office numbers, affecting how filmmakers approach comedy, how actors engage with physical humor, and how audiences connect with films that blend laughter with heart. One of the most significant ways this film influenced its genre is through its reinvigoration of slapstick comedy. At a time when many mainstream comedies leaned heavily on dialogue-driven humor or dark satire, The Naked Gun 2025 embraced physical comedy with unapologetic joy. The film demonstrated that slapstick, when crafted thoughtfully with sharp timing and genuine warmth, can still captivate and entertain wide audiences. This inspired a wave of filmmakers to revisit physical humor in fresh ways, incorporating practical effects and carefully choreographed stunts rather than relying solely on CGI or verbal jokes. The success of The Naked Gun 2025 proved there was still room for laughter that is both visual and visceral in a digital age. Filmmaking itself benefited from the movie's blend of classic and contemporary techniques. Director Rawson Marshall Thurber's approach, honoring the original film's tone while pushing boundaries with modern cinematography, sound design, and editing, set a new standard for sequels and reboots. This careful balance showed that respectful reinvention is possible without alienating longtime fans or confusing newcomers. Many productions since have cited this film as a blueprint for how to refresh legacy properties with heart and humor intact. Its technical choices, from dynamic camera work to layered soundscapes, have been studied and emulated, influencing a generation of comedy directors and editors. In terms of pop culture, The Naked Gun 2025 quickly embedded itself into the collective consciousness. Memorable lines, iconic scenes, and the dynamic between Frank Drebin Jr. and Beth Davenport have become reference points in comedy discussions, parody sketches, and social media memes. The film's humor, accessible yet layered, allowed it to cross generational divides, appealing to both fans of the original trilogy and younger viewers discovering the franchise for the first time. This cross-generational appeal reinforced the film's status as a cultural touchstone, inspiring everything from fashion trends, like Frank's trench coat making a comeback, to music videos that pay playful homage to its slapstick sequences. The movie's impact also extends to the careers of its cast and crew. Liam Neeson's fearless dive into physical comedy opened doors for actors traditionally known for dramatic roles to explore lighter, more playful performances. Pamela Anderson's return to a strong, multidimensional role challenged industry stereotypes about actresses with comedic chops. Behind the scenes, the creative team's collaborative spirit became a case study in how nurturing actor chemistry and encouraging improvisation can lead to more authentic and engaging storytelling. Recognition for The Naked Gun 2025 came not only from audiences but from the industry itself. The film garnered several awards and nominations, particularly for its technical achievements, sound editing, costume design, and stunt coordination, as well as its screenplay's clever blend of humor and heart. These accolades affirmed the film's artistic merit, elevating it beyond mere nostalgia or slapstick fluff. Retrospective analyses often highlight the movie as a milestone that redefined comedy sequels and expanded the possibilities of what a reboot could achieve in tone, style, and emotional depth. Beyond awards, the film's lasting significance lies in its ability to capture the spirit of its time while remaining timeless. It reflects contemporary concerns, such as the balance between technology and humanity, identity and legacy, through the lens of humor, making these themes accessible without diminishing their importance. This clever fusion of comedy and commentary ensures that the film remains relevant, inviting repeated viewings and ongoing discussions. Scholars and critics frequently point to The Naked Gun 2025 as a rare example of a comedy that entertains while engaging thoughtfully with its audience. Perhaps most importantly, the film's legacy is visible in its enduring fan base. Years after release, The Naked Gun 2025 continues to spark enthusiasm, with conventions, fan art, and online communities celebrating its characters and humor. This passionate engagement speaks to the film's deep emotional resonance. Beyond laughs, it offers viewers a sense of belonging and shared joy. The actors' ongoing interactions with fans and participation in reunion events further cement the movie's place as a cherished cultural artifact. Reflecting on The Naked Gun 2025, it's clear why this film stands out as a remarkable achievement in modern comedy cinema. From the very first frame, it captures the spirit of the original trilogy, honoring the legacy while confidently carving its own unique path. The film's perfect balance of slapstick humor, clever writing, and heartfelt moments makes it more than just a funny movie. It becomes an experience that invites laughter, reflection, and genuine connection. What truly defines The Naked Gun 2025 is its ability to blend absurdity with sincerity. Frank Drebin Jr., brought to life by Liam Neeson's fearless performance, embodies this perfectly, clumsy yet charming, silly yet sincere. The chemistry he shares with Pamela Anderson's Beth Davenport breathes life into the story, grounding the humor in authentic relationships that audiences can root for. Their dynamic, along with the strong supporting cast, makes every scene sparkle with energy and unpredictability. Visually, the film dazzles with its inventive cinematography and meticulous production design, which balance vibrant, playful sequences with more atmospheric, tension-filled moments. The director's commitment to practical effects and thoughtful editing keeps the action clear and engaging, while the music and sound design amplify the emotional beats and comedic timing flawlessly. These cinematic techniques come together to create a film that is as much a feast for the eyes and ears as it is for the funny bone. Beyond the technical mastery and performances, The Naked Gun 2025 succeeds because it speaks to timeless themes, identity, legacy, and the clash between humanity and technology, all woven seamlessly into its comedic fabric. This layering allows viewers to enjoy a silly, fun ride while also engaging with meaningful ideas, making the film resonate on multiple levels. It's this depth beneath the laughs that gives the movie its lasting power and cultural significance. The film's impact is seen not just in its critical acclaim or box office success, but in the enthusiastic response from fans who celebrate its humor and heart. Its presence in popular culture continues to grow, inspiring everything from memes to fan theories, and reminding us all of the joy and connection that great comedy can bring. The camaraderie and dedication behind the scenes shine through every frame, proving that when creative minds and talents unite with passion, the result is truly special. As we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear that The Naked Gun, 2025, is more than just a film. It's a testament to the enduring power of laughter, storytelling, and collaboration. Whether you're a longtime fan or a newcomer, it offers a memorable journey filled with surprise, warmth, and plenty of laughs. If you love this breakdown, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of cinema. Let's keep exploring movies together, uncovering the magic, the meaning, and the moments that make films such a beloved art form. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Until next time, keep watching, keep wondering, and keep laughing.